Hey up troops, it's A Littleton here again with another video, and this time we're God, that's annoying. This time we're going to be looking at Dokkaebi. Now, for a load of reasons which we'll get into in the video in a second, Dokkaebi for me is right up there at the minute with the strongest attackers. The ability to find out where people are with an audio cue, the ability to prevent people who've already died in the round from looking at cameras, the EMPs that she has, the DMR that she has, she's all round. As long as you can hit your shots with your DMR, which I'm not particularly good at, she's really, really strong at the minute. So as always, we're going to get into the loadout. There's actually quite a bit to talk about with the loadout because it's a very, very good loadout. So I do apologize if I go on for a bit in the video in there, but there's certain things I have to say. We'll then look at the basics, and then I've got some gameplay examples that I recorded literally 10 minutes ago when I was in Quick Match just using Dokkaebi to try and give you an example of how to use her. So we'll go through them as well. Other than that, I think that's probably enough waffling. Let's get stuck into it. Right then, just for a change, let's get stuck into Dokkaebi's loadout then. Dokkaebi has access to the MK14, or as everyone calls it, Dokkaebi's DMR, the Bosch G, or the Troll G, as I like to call it, the SMG-12, C75, Gon 6, smokes, flashes, EMPs. Now, apart from the main weapon, which for me is a no-brainer unless you're absolutely trolling, the rest of this loadout is one of the most interesting loadouts in Siege, and I'll go through why just now. But talking about the main weapon, great DMR, great damage, literally no recoil when you've got a muzzle brake on there. You can put an argument to have a suppressor or a silencer on there if you want to. Absolutely great DMR. I'm not a good DMR player myself, so I don't play Dokkaebi as much as I should. She's great at the minute, but I mean, the Bosch G, yes, if you can hit heads, I don't know, man. Leaving yourself with 2 shots is tough. But if you're any good with it, then you're a better player than I am. Coming on to the sidearm or the secondary weapon, this is really interesting. The SMG-12 is a bit erratic when it comes to recoil, but the fire rate is insanely good. If you can control the recoil of the SMG-12, it's an insane secondary. The C75, I personally don't like because of the fact there's no there's only iron sights, there's no scopes on there, and I think the iron sights are really restrictive. If we can spin it around a little bit like we just did then, and now we haven't, so let me spin it around again. You can see, what do you see through that? We're looking at the iron sights here, obviously, by the way. You just can't really see much through it. I don't like the iron sights. The damage is slightly more, but the fire rate is less. The recoil isn't as bad, but for me, yeah, you've got to have the SMG-12. By the way, I never really realized this, but if you look at the model of this gun, that's just a pistol with like more of a mag in there, I think. Like, I've never really noticed that before, but it's just like got a bigger mag and it's full auto. But it's literally just a pistol. That's mad, isn't it? Anyway, moving on. Gon 6. So you've got to make the decision. Are you going to play DMR SMG-12 or are you going to play DMR Gon 6? The Gon 6 is insanely useful when it comes to getting rid of castle barricades, Melusi banshees, anything really, etc., etc. But you then lose the ability to fight close quarters because that DMR isn't going to be your best option, like up close and personal. So it's a tough one how you want to play that one. And probably the best 3 selection, like in terms of an operator who has like a really good all-round selection of secondary gadgets, unreal. Smokes, great for certain things. Flash is great for certain things. EMP is probably the strongest secondary gadget in the game at the minute, other than a frag grenade on attack. So it's really, I could talk about this all day. It all depends. Again, I feel like we come around to the same point when we talk about loadouts. It's site specific, isn't it? For me, you always take the DMR and the SMG-12. Gon 6 if you know you're going to have to clear some utility, although I probably would still prefer the SMG-12. Now, the EMP is one of the reasons Dokkaebi is so strong at the minute, because she can now be that Thatcher alternative. But again, depending if Thatcher's not banned, then you don't want to be taking EMPs. You're going to have to take flashes or smokes. Smokes, you can cover angles to get plants off. Flashes, you can be aggressive or burn ADSs for frag grenades. It's a great loadout, and it's one of the reasons why Dokkaebi is so strong at the minute. But for me, across most sites, I would go DMR, SMG-12, and EMPs. I think before we get started, we all know what we've got to do. Shoot the radio. Get that out of the way. Right then, what does Dokkaebi do? What is Dokkaebi about? And what gadget does Dokkaebi have? Dokkaebi has access to this thing. This is the Logic Bomb. It's part of a sort of tablet/laptop. I'm just showing you what it looks like here. I don't want to force the call through straight away, but you can see what it does. Right, so you fire that laptop up, and that's going to ring every defender's phone who's still alive. So, you know every defender has a phone. You can go on cams just like this. Dokkaebi has a laptop, but every other defender has a phone. If we just jump on the cams for Valkyrie here, you'll see that Valkyrie has a phone. Checking the cams on the phone. Oh, you can see the Ghost Eyes logo. Lovely. So, what will happen? When I use this gadget to make the call, you'll hear Valkyrie's phone starts ringing, starts buzzing. It gets hacked. Valkyrie at the minute can't go on her phone for 12 seconds. The ringing goes on, the incessant ringing for 12 seconds. It's one of the most frustrating gadgets to play against in the world. However, you heard how loud that audible tone was. So let's just say Valkyrie's hiding behind here. We don't know where she is. We make that call again, and we can hear that she's somewhere there using the sound of the game. I know siege sound can be tricky sometimes, but generally, when it comes to the logic bomb, I think it gives you a decent bit of information. Now, why is this good? It's good for a couple of reasons. One, it gives you that audio cue that we've just mentioned, but it also means that the defender either lets that ring out for 12 seconds, so you get a 12-second audio cue as an attacker, or the defender has to turn the phone off. Now, that's a 5-second process, so let me call again. If Valkyrie doesn't want this ringing for 12 seconds, she can turn it off, but look how long this takes. Get your phone out, do a bit of tapping, turn that off. That's a 5-second process to get that turned off. That's insanely long and really annoying, especially in a situation where you might be hiding here and you think, right, I can't let them know that I'm here, so I'm going to have to turn the phone off. But if I turn the phone off, I've got to stay still for 5 seconds. It's really tough, a really tough decision, and an awful person to play against. When you find there's a Dokkaebi on the other team, I hate it. That's why you see a ban so often these days. But that's the basics. A 12-second call that can be, I was going to say diffused there. A 12-second call that can be turned off if you spend 5 seconds turning it off, or you can have an audio cue on your position for 12 seconds for the enemy. Now, you may notice we've swapped sides here. We're now playing mute. There's a reason for this. I'm going to show you in just a second. So, place a mute jammer down on the floor. Remember, a mute jammer denies all sort of attacker signals. Now, bear that in mind because that's going to be important. So now, I'm going to show you firstly how annoying that call is when you're on defense. So you can see Dokkaebi making the call. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. It's embarrassing. You can see Dokkaebi making the call. Listen to this. You just get this for 12 seconds. It's horrible. And again, to stop, a 5-second process to have to put the code in. However, this is where mute is the direct counter to Dokkaebi. If Dokkaebi calls again, you can stop the call instantly by going into the range of a mute jammer. Annoying calls come through again. You can see the range of the mute jammer is going to be about here, and as soon as we go in range, you hear the little, like, crunch, like, that stops the call, and it won't come back again until Dokkaebi tries to ring again. If you're in the range of a mute jammer, whilst the call's being made, your phone won't even ring to begin with. You can see down by the bottom left next to your health where the mute jammer blue circle is. That means you're in the range. We're back in range. We're now out the range. We're back in range. That means you're in the range of the mute jammer. When Dokkaebi makes that call, if you're in the range of a mute jammer, the phone won't even ring to begin with. So mute is the direct counter to Dokkaebi. So what else does Dokkaebi do that's fantastic? Well, I'll show you. So we've got 2 defenders here. Big shout out to Mr. Potato 42, who's very kindly jumped in the game so we can play Maestro, because we need 2 defenders for this example. You can see we've got a Maestro cam here. We've got 3 Vault cams on the wall here, and there's another Maestro cam here. There's 5 cameras plus the default camera here. So what happens when you kill an enemy as Dokkaebi? We're going to kill the Maestro. Look what happens on the area that Maestro dies. He drops a phone. Now, this phone can be hacked by Dokkaebi using the same device that she did to call the phone earlier on. So we're going to hack the device. It's a 5-second process once again. You'll see when it's done, that phone gets destroyed. That's interesting. Remember that, because we're going to come back onto that in a second. Now, when Dokkaebi checks her camera feed, you've got the drone outside that I had to begin with. And then we've got all the default cams of the defenders. We've got the 3 Vault cams across the wall. 1, 2, 3. Then we've got the 2 Maestro cams that are in the garage as well. Now, just a key point of note. You can't use the functionalities of the cameras. So let's just say it's a Maestro cam, or it's an Echo drone, or a Mozzie drone. You can't use the gadget. You can't open the Maestro cam and shoot. You can't move a Mozzie drone around, but you can view it. Same with the Vault cam. Obviously, you can just view it. You can't do anything with the Vault cam anyway, but you know what I mean. So what it looks like from a defender's point of view, we'll get onto in a second. And there is a counter to the defenders trying to stop this if possible. But just it's key to remember, you can't use the gadgets like how the defenders would, but you just get access to the camera feed. So you can view any gadget that shows an image in the camera feed. So we'll have a look what that looks like from the defense point of view now. Thank you, Vel. Okay, so we're on the defender side of things now, and we're going to do the same thing again where the Dokkaebi kills the Maestro. But before Dokkaebi can hack the phone, I'm going to show you something you can do. And not everyone knows this, but you might do. So Dokkaebi's killed the Maestro. Maestro's gone down the oil pit. Sorry, Maestro. And you see that his phone's left over there, which is what we did before with Dokkaebi. Now, Dokkaebi wants to come and hack that phone. However, If there's ever a situation where you see your teammate die and you know there's a Dokkaebi on the board, you can destroy this phone so Dokkaebi can't hack it, and it's dead simple. It's one bullet. That phone's now gone. Dokkaebi can't hack that phone anymore, and it's the same with every enemy that dies. Anytime that Dokkaebi kills an opponent, or anyone kills an opponent when Dokkaebi's on the other team, as a defender, make sure you shoot that phone if you can. It's not something everybody realizes, that you actually physically see the phone drop. If you're a defender, you see the phone, destroy it before Dokkaebi hacks it. Okay, so the final thing to show you what Dokkaebi does, and this is, again, another really oppressive thing that she does. I was going to say arguably one of the most annoying things, but I don't think it is, because getting cold when you're trying to hide is pretty annoying. But so now we're going to be the victim here. Dokkaebi's going to take us out, and we're dead, which is really annoying. We don't want to be dead in the round if we can avoid it. Kill cam gone. Now we're on cams, okay? You got the Maestro cams we're looking at. We can see Dokkaebi, we can see Maestro. So, you know when we were alive and Dokkaebi calls the phones? Well, now we're dead and Dokkaebi's going to call the phones again, but look what happens when you're dead. You now also have that hacking... You don't get the annoying vibrating sound, but you have this, which is arguably more annoying. You can't view any cameras when Dokkaebi calls. This has changed in the last, I think it was like 2 seasons ago. It used to be that once you were dead, you weren't affected by Dokkaebi's calls. But now, you can't even be on cams when Dokkaebi calls. You can still view your teammates, so if I call one more time... You'll see I get hacked on the cams. I can't view for 12 seconds. You can still spectate your teammates. You can hear that Maestro's phone's ringing. But if you want to view any cameras, you can't cycle through them. You can't view any of them. You just get this screen. It's awful to watch and awful to listen to. But again, really oppressive. But also, for Dokkaebi, really effective. If you're making a push and you're like in a 2v2, you know there's 3 enemies on the other team that are watching cameras for the remaining 2 players. So you make a call, not only are you vibrating the 2 remaining players who are alive's phone, so you're getting an audio cue from them, but you're also preventing the 3 players who are dead from watching the cameras for the 2 players who are left, if that makes sense, if you're with me. So it affects everybody, alive or dead. It's honestly, it's up there with one of the best gadgets at the minute for me. Now, I know this says in-game example 1, but this was the first quick match that I played when I just tried to jump in and do some Dokkaebi examples. So here, I'm just checking a couple of spawn peaks over at Strip. Get up, check gym window. Oh, master window's open. Good night, pal. This is an actual Dokkaebi example with the gadget then. We're on for Valor, another quick match that I played earlier today. Just having a quick look at what we can see. It's normally a decent place for a drone. This we just see that. I think it's a bandit come up the stairs. Try and wall bang him, no use. Gonna open this door. We know the other door's clear, by the way, because I droned that out earlier. Get back on the drone, see if we can see him again. Saw him on the steps last time. Jump down. Oh, here he is. He hasn't heard the drone somehow, but anyway. Give him a buzz. As you can hear, buzz, 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 buzz. We know where he is. Just gonna swap to the SMG-12. Good night. Gotta move when you're getting buzzed like that. Try and be aggressive, perhaps. So final example with the gadget then. So here I've taken control of the back end of basement of the new consulate. Gonna make a call. And as I'm coming down here now, you can probably hear in the sound, there's an audio buzz that I can hear. I'm not sure whether it's this room. Nothing there. And then I realise now it's at this door. Then I doubt myself and think maybe it's that door. And then I go, no, it's this door. So the gadget giving me the location of that thorn perfectly. So there we have it. Dokkaebi at the minute is so strong. Being able to just dial that button, ring those phones, find out where enemies are, help your team push, stop people being on cameras. She's so strong. EMPs, so strong. And if you can use the DMR, definitely start playing more Dokkaebi. I say it every time, but for those of you who've got this far in the video, honestly, I can't thank you enough. This channel's nothing without people that watch the video. So cheers, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for supporting the channel. Other than that, I'll see you next time. Cheers!